Welcome, all ye faithful, joyful, and welcome back to LEGO Star Wars. Right now, we are Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're playing as Obi-Wan, and we are following the trail of that weird bounty hunter guy who killed that other weird bounty hunter guy who was trying to kill Padme. And we have found ourselves on this bizarre planet. So this planet is actually really cool. I like the look of it a lot. Again, this is really faithfully recreated from Attack of the Clones. It's really, you know, it looks just like the movie. I've always liked the look of this place. I don't know, it's something about it being all dark and rainy and stormy on the outside, but then on the inside, I'm gonna cut that. It's actually really nice. It's like all future-y and white and glossy, and honestly, it's like if the iPod was like a place. I don't know. You might notice that we are playing as both Obi-Wan Kenobi and this little guy, R4P17. I did not know that, all I knew was R4, I did not know that the rest of his name is P17. So I haven't really talked about this yet, but this game does have a two-player function, as in, it has co-op, so that other non-player character that we always have following us around, that can be another player, that can be a second player if you so desire. So yeah, that's the reason that there are always consistently two characters walking around. And you don't really notice it in The Phantom Menace because most of the time it's just Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. Queen Amidala and Captain Pancake. So it doesn't really register that, oh, there are two characters here because one of them needs to be controlled by a second player. It's just, oh, AI characters, neat. But unlike all those other levels, this level has kind of a lame second player character. Like, who wants to be the person who gets stuck with playing R4, you know? When you could be Obi-Wan Kenobi with all his cool force powers. In fact, R4 stays with the ship in the movie, but for this game they were like, oh, we gotta have someone else go with Obi-Wan so that we can have two players, so they put R4 in there. But anyway, let's continue on with the level, where we are going to discover that, wow, this cutscene does not convey what's going on in the story very well. But basically, these guys are cloning people. They're cloning an entire army that's apparently meant for the Republic, for the Jedi. And we didn't know about this. The Jedi had no idea that these guys existed, you know? And basically the story is that because Obi-Wan followed the bounty hunter here, as soon as they're like, oh yeah, the guy who we cloned to make this giant clone army, he's here. He's our neighbor. He's a friendly guy. And he happens to be a bounty hunter who we paid to be the template for all of these clones. And everyone is like, oh, I'm super cool and suave and British. I would very much like to meet this Jango Fett fellow. That's exactly line for line what he says in the movie. I'm not paraphrasing. The writing in this movie is a little on the nose, but I'll take it, whatever. Hey look, R4, it's the one thing you're useful for. Well, actually one of the two things you're useful for, because you do have that cool hovering thing that actually not many characters in the game can do. So anyway, here he is, here's Mr. Jango Fett, the bad guy that we were chasing, I guess. And oh no, a bunch of evil robots that weren't in the movie, but we needed combat sequences, we needed something to fight. In the actual movie, Attack of the Clones, it isn't just following Obi-Wan tracking down this bounty hunter. We also follow Anakin and Padme, who by the way is the same character as Queen Amidala from The Phantom Menace. I feel like I didn't make that clear, so in case you didn't know, yeah. Well, they're not technically the same character, but for the sake of simplicity, I'll say that they are. They're basically the same. And yeah, there's an entire subplot in Attack of the Clones that's all about them and the growing romance between Anakin and Padme, and it is the most agonizing, terribly written, cheesy love story that you have ever seen in a movie. Like, it is just awful, honestly. The dialogue in the romance scenes is just like unbearably like cheesy and pseudo-poetic. Like, George Lucas actually hired an assistant writer to do some of the romance stuff for him, but you can tell which things were written by this new writer and which ones were written by George Lucas himself. Because to me it seems like the bits written by George Lucas were all the important bits, and then he left all of the like chemistry, character, relationship development stuff to the other writer who actually knew what he was doing, kind of, which is why some of the romance scenes aren't horrible, and some of them are. But basically my point is the romance in Attack of the Clones, which takes up a lot of the movie, really sucks, and I'm glad there isn't a level about it. It's odd enough that they made a level out of the Camino scenes, because a lot of this part of the movie is just talking and conversations, save for the part that we've got coming up. But yeah, it's cool that they made a scene out of such an integral part of the movie, but one that doesn't necessarily always lend itself to action. And right now we are chasing Jango Fett, who I guess planted a bunch of bombs around the place conveniently. Great. Thanks for that, game. I was just trying to be fast. I was just trying to be cool. And you just had to screw me up like that on What?! I was not caught in that explosion. Come on. And now we... Oh, there we go. See, collaboration between the two. See, when you have stuff like this, where Obi-Wan and R4 need to work together using their unique abilities and stuff, then it's kind of neat. But, you know, if you're playing two-player and it's just like... You know, Obi-Wan's doing all the stuff and then R2's just kind of wandering around not able to do anything, then it's less fun. This is where a dialogue scene in Attack of the Clones takes place. These spoon chairs are in the movie and the characters sit down in them and have a conversation about clones or whatever. It's actually not a bad scene, because it's like kind of intriguing, like, what? Clones? And we're sort of finding out all this information at the same time that Obi-Wan is. So this sequence right here, in the actual video game, is probably better in two-player mode when you have a co-op partner with you, because what one of you is going to do is going to be Obi-Wan, and you're going to be fighting all of these robot things, whereas the player who's playing R4 is going to be, you know, shutting down all of these little hatches and making sure that enemies don't keep spawning. And then Obi-Wan does that, and then R4 does that. Teamwork by yourself. So this is actually a sequence from the movie now, where Jango Fett just, like, is desperately trying to escape off the planet, and Obi-Wan's like, wait, no, he's British. Not so fast. And then Jango Fett's just like, yeah, we're leaving. That, by the way, that other character who's with him, that's Boba Fett, his son. Technically not his son, but that's a clone of Jango Fett, an unaltered clone. Because all the other clones that are making up this army that these cloning people made for the Republic, all of them have been like age accelerated to cover up the plot hole that they were commissioned like 10 years ago, and the clones are meant to be about 20 years old. Accelerated aging, yeah, they just accelerate twice the rate of normal humans because they do. But yeah, can you imagine if they actually made levels for the romance subplot in Attack of the Clones? That would be disastrous. Press X to confess your feelings. Press Y to kill them all. Yeah, also Anakin murders some sand people, like an entire tribe of them, because they killed his mum or something. Attack of the Clones is just a bad movie, honestly. I like it less than The Phantom Menace, and I already don't like The Phantom Menace. Attack of the Clones is actually my least favorite Star Wars movie of all of them. Because unlike The Phantom Menace, there's no pod race to look forward to. There's no Duel of the Fates with Darth Maul and the two Jedi. There's none of that. It's just boring the whole time, and or infuriating. I hear a lot of people say that they really like Obi-Wan in this movie, and I kind of get that. Like, it's the only, like, the bits with Obi-Wan are like the only competently done, slightly entertaining to watch scenes in the movie for me. So I can kind of get where people are coming from, but I don't think like Obi-Wan's... I hear a lot of people saying like, at least the prequels gave us Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's a really cool character. And I'm like, by comparison, sure, he's an alright character, but like, I don't get what's so special about him, except that he's here to save us from all the other characters in the movie by taking the spotlight. Except in The Phantom Menace, because in the actual movie The Phantom Menace, he's barely in it, actually. Well, he is. He's technically a major character, but he just sits around and never does anything. Yeah, whereas in Attack of the Clones, he gets an entire subplot to do stuff, so... Yeah, yeah, we did get True Jedi, that's right, because I wandered around and did pointless stuff, which I'm sure was thrilling to watch. But yeah, thanks for watching this part of LEGO Star Wars, The Completed Saga. Next time, more. Bye.